The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. Yeah. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
Hey, grand rising to you billionaires. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street as we present to you guys the Money and Power Show, where we talk about money and the power. Money and the power. Money being economics, power being politics, money being the cash flow, politics being the cash rules. That's just what we got going on here today, man. So we just really focus on talking about two subjects, two areas that we've been conditioned not to talk much about. That would be economics and politics. And I believe we talk more about it, begin to understand it more. We begin to make better decisions as it relates to money and the power, as it relates to economics and politics, as it relates to how we manage and deal with money and the laws that are passed that we vote on for the people who make those laws and all that good stuff. So we're just going to try to learn all that we can each and every day to make so that we get better. And as we get better, things will get better. As we get better, things will get better. As we get better, things will get better. Now, I'm your host, ERGJ, a certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, an international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book that I wrote, guys, is a study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if. But if you do, my recommendation is you begin by studying wealthy people. That's right, The Black Billionaires Club. You can find that book by simply going to the website www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. It's available in French and also in English for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. You can pick up your copy today. Just check out the website. You can find that link in the description above or below. Today's episode is being brought to you by ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. Here at the ERGJ Black Bazaar, you'll find all types of cool stuff, man. We are featuring the CBD hemp products now and also still the personal protective equipment. Don't go out there not protecting yourself. The protests and all the stuff we understand is necessary, but there is still some virus and some plagues in the land. So keep yourself protected. We do have personal protective equipment. If you're going to wear it, why not buy it black, right? Why not buy it black? Absolutely, man. Home decor, things like that as well. Here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, we specialize in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art-inspired gifts. And we want you to remember this, that once you shop black, you never go back. And we're super excited here at ERGJ Black Bazaar, which you can find us by simply going to the website www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. We've added a new category, and we are going to feature that category here today as we have your Black-owned business partner category right here. You click on that, you're going to come on over to some of our Black-owned businesses that we know about, and everybody's not represented, but we're doing our part. Okay, this is called group marketing, by the way. And so we're going to feature today our first Black business, which would be the True Products. In case you guys don't know, we do have our own laundry detergent fabric softener company. We have a household product company that are looking to, expand their brand. And as we support, and here's the deal. Here's what I tell people all the time, right? At the end of the day, right? Everybody washes their clothes. Everybody washes their clothes. And I'm just simply saying, if we as people, we're serious about this buy black thing, we can start with the small stuff that we can redirect our dollars to. And that could be simply starting your laundry, in your washroom, right? And you just simply just keep on washing your clothes, but buy black stuff with it. And you can do that with laundry detergent. So you can check out the True Products. Let me see if I can put this all up here for you. The True. Everybody put in comments on True. True. Oh, yeah, let me see if I can do that. We got the True Products, and then let me see if I can get this website for it. I mean, you got to get the website too, because then that way you can't make no excuses. You just simply, it's a choice. It's a choice, by the way. You can make no excuses, but it's a choice. And there's a website, thetrueproducts.com. So you can go there, right? And you can just make the switch to buying black. It's also U.S. made in USA, made by veterans as well. It's a halal certified. I mean, no animal testing, none of that stuff. And matter of fact, the fabric softener is a plant-based fabric softener, so it's good for us. And so you can make the switch anytime. TheTrueProducts.com. They also have hand sanitizer as well that they brought out now as well. So you can find all that by simply going to the website and deciding to practice group economics, deciding to circulate your dollars within your very own community. Just a decision to make. If you can't find it there, then you just simply come on back over, right? Come on back over to ERGJ Black Bazaar, locate our Black-owned business partner tab, click there, right? You click here, and then you just come to the description and you click here. Either way, you can find this laundry detergent company or this household product company, and we're just going to keep on promoting black. That's what we're going to do. We're going to help further the cause. We're going to help further the mission of buying black. Okay, so that's just what we're going to do, man. The True Products, The True Products at TheTrueProducts.com. If you're serious about this thing, it's got to take place in your actions, and you got to understand that your dollars matter. And so make the switch to black owned. Make the switch to true. Make the switch to true. Try them. If you don't like it, go back. But at least say you might try, right? So they have, what do they got? Purple bottle is the regular bottle. The clear bottle is the fragrance-free bottle for the detergent. The orange bottle is your fabric softener. The plant-based cotton or something like that based fabric softener. Okay? Who else is doing stuff like this? Yeah, your boy is real about that thing. I'm serious about that thing. Let's find out who's here with us this morning as we get our day started. It's Black Man Monday too, by the way. I was supposed to have a guest. I'm not quite sure if he's having trouble connecting or whatever, but the show must go on. Let's find out who's here with us this morning as the billionaires are rising early. We're broadcasting across Facebook and also YouTube live this morning. And we'd love to know where you're connecting from, what city, what state, what country you are connecting from. Because we're broadcasting here from our virtual studio in Decatur, Georgia. That's right. Decatur, where it's greater. And just love to know how far our reach is as we're using the World Wide Web, which means we can go all over the world as we're hitting the like button, the share button, and all that stuff. Want to know where you are connected from this morning. Let's find out who's joined us here this morning. King Carlton has joined us here this morning from YouTube. Thanks so much for joining us here today, brother. Queen Vivian is in the house out of Brooklyn, New York. Joined us here today. Queen Phyllis is in the house. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Queen Kanata, Queen Kinata out of on YouTube has joined us here this morning. Grand rising to you, Queen. Fatima is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. Grand rising to you. Absolutely. Queen Shanrika has joined us here today. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. That's right, Tro. That's right, man. It reminds me of Master P, man. The No Limit Soldiers. Grand rising to you, King Thomas out of Louisville, Kentucky. That's right, man. Float like a butterfly. Sting like a bee. Home of Muhammad Ali. Thanks so much for joining us here today, man. Queen Jennifer is in the house. Thanks so much for joining us. Grand rising to you, King Marv Fleming out of Douglasville. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. That's right. Ted Lamb, thanks so much for joining us out of Tampa. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Money and Power Show. And we got a fantastic show set up for us here today. We're supposed to have a full power show. And I'm still hoping that my guest is going to be here because I sent them all the stuff. This happens. This is why I always make sure. You always got to make sure that you can still rock and roll if things don't go as you plan. But nonetheless, it's going to be a full power show. I was going to finally have somebody political to come talk to us today. Hopefully, he's still going to connect, and we still got time. But nonetheless, if not, I can hold my own. I can hold my own for the show. Nonetheless, wait, so I got a little message. Maybe that was him. Is that him? Oh, he's having an issue. So maybe he'll be joining soon. All right, that's why we get on a little early so we can take care of all the technical issues. He'll be going on. I might have to try the phone. Try the phone if you have an issue. Come on, brother. We got to get you. Try the phone if necessary. If necessary. Try the phone if necessary. All right, so we're going to go on into our political piece, which will be our power piece of the Money and Power Show. This is going to come from a Black History Reader, and then hopefully our brother will be joining us here soon, which is a book that's written by a powerful brother named Dr. Claude Anderson. So if you don't know who Dr. Claude Anderson is, he's one of the great minds of our time. He's written a few books, one being Powernomics, which he broke down a structure of how we can use economics to further better ourselves if we organize it. He's also written a book called Black Labor, White Wealth, how we're putting a black face on a lot of things that are still going towards financing our very own oppression. And this book he's written is called A Black History Reader, which I think is one of his better pieces, because what he's doing, he's breaking down like the Constitution and social construct, and he's leaving a real legacy for those that want to find it and read it. They can get an understanding from his viewpoint, his 70 some odd years living here on this earth, and the studies and research he's done, and we can gain some knowledge from it. And this is 101 questions that you never thought to ask. And we are going to do, it's going to be a two-part today, because we're not going to get through reading all of this because it's pretty long. But question number 22 is this: what is the connection between blacks, gun control, and United States Constitution's Second Amendment rights? Now, I find this very interesting because I was looking this morning. I saw a whole bunch of pictures of black folk protesting at city halls with their guns. I said, "Oh, that's good. We got make sure we can protect ourselves while we're out there." But anyway, what is the connection between blacks, gun control, and United States Constitution's Second Amendment rights? Here today on the Money and Power. So let's find out what Dr. Claude Anderson has for us here today. 101 questions that you never thought to ask. Let's read. The United States Constitution curiously binds blacks, gun control, and the Second Amendment rights, Second Amendment together. When the Constitution was crafted, the use of the we and we the people have a right to bear arms did not include black people. Now, let me read that again, right? When the Constitution, I see you, brother. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll bring you up in just a second. It's gonna be a power show today. Oh, it's finally. I'm telling y'all, I've been waiting, and y'all know, for those who've been watching for a while, I've been like, man, I gotta find some political people. I got the financial part down, but I need some political people, or people in the politics, people understand politics, people that teach politics, whatever. So here on Black Man Monday, I finally got a brother. Oh Lord, I'm super excited now. I was excited before I seen him come up in my studio, in my green room. I'm even more excited now. So when the Constitution was crafted, the we and we the people have a right to bear arms did not include black people, who were classified as slaves at the time, and 3/5 of a human being and equal to the field animal. The Second Amendment was enacted to enable whites to protect themselves in the event of slave revolts and to maintain a system of slavery. Blacks were forbidden to possess weapons to protect their person or to defend their lives, homes, or families. Unarmed free blacks were vulnerable and marginally more secure than enslaved blacks. Free or enslaved blacks were dependent upon whites for whatever protection they were willing to offer. Gun control laws and black slaves entered the American colonies about the same time, even before the United States Constitution was written. The first gun control laws, enacted in 1643 by most colonies, permitted all people, including Native Indians, to carry weapons for hunting and recreation, with one exception: black people. They would be needed as an enslaved labor class, and slavery was just beginning to take hold in the colonies. Blacks from Africa were being shaped into a non-competitive, non-threatening, non-paid labor class. Colonial societies knew an armed black population would not willingly allow itself to be enslaved and denied their human rights. White slave owners so feared what blacks would do if they had weapons that even during the early days of the Indian Wars, colonial law forbade weapons being issued to blacks to help fight off raiding Native Indians. A few years later, in 1667, the act to regulate Negroes on British plantations was enacted. It forbade blacks to carry or have access to weapons within any of the colonies. While forbidding blacks to carry weapons, the colonial gun laws mandated that white males carry weapons, chase down, capture, and return runaway black slaves to their white masters. Like the colonial laws, the language in the United States Constitution, ratified in 1789, made it perfectly clear that blacks would not have rights to bear arms or weapons of any sort. In a nation that was being founded on the racial caste system, white people would be the management and wealth-enriched class. Black people from Africa would be the enslaved labor class. The white management overclass needed public gun and weapon laws in place to keep blacks defenseless, vulnerable, non-threatening, and under control at all times. I want us to understand this is not much has really changed, although there has been progress made. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is money and the power. What it comes down to is these two words I want you to remember as you go fight, as we go protest and all this stuff. It comes down to capital and control. Everybody put that in the comments below. Capital and control. Now, we can be socialists all we want, but at the end of the day, we live in a society that's called capitalism, and it comes down to capital and control. Capital and control. This is why you hear us talk about ownership so much. Ownership gives you a semblance of power or a semblance of control. And unfortunately, we black folk were under control, or we were owned at some point in time, way back, 300 years ago, whatever the case may be. So, the right to bear arms or weapons was institutionalized in the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and other laws. The laws regulated even the carrying of clubs and knives as well as firearms. Slaves could not even raise their hands to strike a white person or defend themselves. Native Indians were exempt from most of these weapon regulations because the colonial powers needed their help in maintaining slavery and did not have control over them. Moreover, the colonies feared slave revolts more than Indian attacks because slaves had access to the slave owners' homes and families. That's part one, guys, as we're hearing from Dr. Claude Anderson in a Black History Reader in his question, which was question number 22. We still got about 80-some odd questions to go, by the way. What is the connection between blacks gun control, United States constitutional, Second Amendment rights? I'll bring my guest up in just a second, man. Let's catch up on these comments as we are learning today. Now, y'all know the deal. If y'all learn anything today, y'all know y'all supposed to put in that comments below pineapples, just so we know. We gonna pineapple, right? If you learn something new, just make sure you put in the comments below pineapple, because that's what we got going on. What's going on? Brother Sean is in the house, man. Hit the like button and share button if you care. This is going to be a power show. We're going to talk to our brother, get some understanding, hopefully learn something from him as well, what he's got going on also. Let's catch up on these comments, and I'll bring in my guest. This is a great time for you to tag somebody who's been looking for a little political education. We've been looking to understand some of the stuff, why we do what we do when it comes to politics or voting. Make sure you get your questions together. We're going to put him to the test. We're going to see if he is real. If he is really real. Grand Rising to you, King Sean is in the house, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Queen Sincere, Pineapples, absolutely weapons formed against them, absolute capital and control. That's right. Pineapple. Queen Amanda's in the house. Capital and control. That's right. Capital and control. That's right. Capital and control. This is really what to fight for. Although we're fighting for freedom, we should be also fighting for some capital and some control. That's right, man. Grand Rising to you, Carter and Pineapples. Absolutely, man. Let me introduce you guys here today to our show, the Money and Power Show, and also Black Man Monday. So we have a black man that is also, well-versed in both, in money and power. And I'm really just talking on the political side. This brother also a business owner and things like that as well. But I will allow him to tell us a little bit more about himself. We have some technical issues, but he is here today. We got a little darkness going on, but nonetheless, we're going to need some light, Brother Sheila. I don't know what's going on.
Get somewhere else and get a little lighter. I know what's that dark.
There you go. There you go. Right now. Right now.
Right there. Hold on. Let me turn this light off in the back.
Okay. There we go. Let's see if that works. Cause you were looking like a pretty dark brother there for a second.
Yeah, I got this new internet, and the other day in my office, it won't reach into my office because it's down in the basement now. And I was like, I got to find another place and where I could get connected, because I usually do my work right there on the sofa. It's crazy, yeah. But I hope it's a little better.
Nonetheless, man, welcome to the Money and Power Show, man. I'm proud. I'm glad that you were able to make it here with us today. Again, guys, hit the like button and share button if you care. Like button and share button if you care. You're gonna learn something today, man. Brother Sheila, man, thanks so much for joining us, man. There are plenty of people who are watching today who have absolutely no idea who you are. And so, if you could do us a favor and just do a brief introduction and tell us who you are, what you do, why you do what you do, and why the heck we should listen to you.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on the show. I follow you. You do an excellent job. My name is Greg Shilley. I'm running for state representative of District 90. That's South DeKalb and here in Georgia. So it's Lithonia, Stonecrest, a little bit of Decatur. Conyers, a little bit of Henry County. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in a real estate developer for 16 years, 3 months, and 14 days now. We do a lot of work with government projects. So we get a lot of money from HUD that goes to the state. It trickles. I mean, it comes from federal, it trickles down to the state, and goes to local municipalities. A lot of times we get that money, and we'll fix up houses for your grandmother, your older aunt, for teachers, for police officers, for the disabled people here. So reason why I'm running for office is because I say the political system is not working for us. So I see how a lot of the money, some of the money is given out and to the different communities and different municipalities, because that's the type of work that I do. And the way things are set up now, if an area is getting $1 million for Project X, some area on the north side of town probably get $10 million for a similar project. We're not always getting that fair share because we're not going after the money, and we don't know how to go after the money. And some of our politicians, even though they've been in office for 20 years, they may not understand because some of them have not been in business the way I have been in business. So if you don't have good representation, you don't know how to go after the money. So for the people of your community to benefit from. So we see this boom in economic development in the Atlanta metropolitan area over the last few years. But in my area, there's no boom. You know, there's no big influx of buildings and jobs and businesses. There's none. We've been flat pretty much almost for the last 10 years. So I've been asking myself, why? Why have we been flat? Well, because part of it that I see is it's the money, it's the economic development. Who's going after the money? So my platform is, instead of looking at the state, going to the top to the state and looking for legislation for small businesses or organizations and things like that, let's look at how I do it. You know, it's working through businesses, organizations, and individuals, coming up with great ideas or already having great ideas, and then looking for where's the pot of money within the state. So a lot of times there's money that's in different, let's say, for example, they're in different pockets for real estate development. There's money there, and we have to go after the money and reap the benefits of some of the money in these bills and things like that, so we can fund our own programs, our own businesses, our own individuals. And that's what I do for my business. So when we're looking for different projects, we look and see, well, what does the state have? You know, what type of projects are they looking to contract out? Or we even look local. You know, what does the city of Atlanta have? What does Clayton County have? And we look federal. What is HUD looking for? What is DOD looking for? So we start at the bottom with us, and we look at what's out there instead of looking at the top and hoping that some money trickles down.
Man, I already know we're gonna have a whole bunch of questions today, brother. Oh man, a lot of what you just said, brother, see, is interesting because in finance, you just mentioned these different approaches. I teach the same thing when it comes to approach. I teach a top down and a bottom up, and you just mentioned a bottom up approach, which I'm very familiar with that terminology. But as we get into talking about, there's so many questions I got for you, but we'll try to get as much as we can in these next 30 minutes or so, because it's all about power today, which will be politics, and then obviously a little bit of money as well, because they kind of go hand in hand. I say you got cash rules, you got cash flow, which would be capital, you got cash rules, which is the laws that dictate that cash flow being politics. So this is very interesting because you have a businessman, and not obviously black businessman, but I'm just going to say a businessman that saw these economic differences between South and North. Let's just put it that way, X and Y. And you say, you start to ask yourself why, and you start looking for answers or solutions to this problem, and it brought you to the place where you said, well, I guess God has called me to go run for office. Now what I tell people all the time is that, because I'm a certified financial educator, I think we need more political educators. Like there's a big gap available for people who want to get out and just educate people about politics, because it's a different language. You know, you just mentioned a whole bunch of big words that people don't know. They kind of understand it, but don't really know all these things that you're saying. But as a businessman, because we actually have a businessman in office, and Donald Trump. Talk to us a little bit about the mindset that you had as a businessman that moved you to, okay, I can affect change in policy if I run for office. That's a big step.
Exactly. Well, to start off, I didn't want to run for political office. You know, I have a group of friends, smart group of friends, and for years I said, we need to get somebody out there to represent us. We need to get somebody to run for office. Who wants to raise their hand and run for office? And then for years, everyone like, I don't know, not me. I can't do this. So I kept asking that question, and someone said, hey, you got to be the one to do it. So I wanted to be the guy in the background, you know, educating the person, financing the person, you know, trying to set different agendas and things like that. But no one really wanted to do it. And I understand why people don't want to do it, because it's a grind. But if we don't get out there and try to change the dynamics of our community, we're going to be in the same position year after year. So if we keep doing the same thing over and over, we're going to get the same thing that we had over and over. So when I look at what we've been doing in our community, you know, and just following the money, it's been pretty much nothing. It's pretty much no one's have a plan. No one has an agenda. Just nothing has changed. And I use this example all the time with Old Fourth Ward. That's in Atlanta, just right outside of Atlanta. So we had a contract, let's say 5-6 years ago, to revitalize some houses in the Old Fourth Ward. And the area was so bad that I told them that I do not want to do this contract, because I know that the people over here would steal my subcontractors' tools when they went into the houses. 2 years later, the area was so revitalized that homes that were less than $100,000, let's say $60,000, $50,000, are now today they're $800,000. And why do we say that?
Oh man.
It's because after money, private schools, and these private schools are going after state and federal dollars to get funded. So even in our community, when we say we have bad schools and people don't want to move here for bad schools because the school systems are so bad, well, there's all these little pockets that we have, these little pockets of little private schools around, but they're very, very small. But just think if they had the funding to grow a little bit more and get a little bit more, you know, more students and get more prestige, what people know, then it would change the area. It would change the area and the perception of the area. You know, well, maybe I don't have to go to public schools. I can go to this private school right here, which is a good private school. So once you have good schools, you know, you attract different investments. And once you attract different investment, you have more businesses. Once you attract more businesses, you start to decrease crime, the unemployment rate for that area, and then your whole area is revitalized. But you have to have a plan for those things.
Man, absolutely. You got to have a plan. Everybody putting console, follow the money. You got to have a plan, man. So when it comes to this,
can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
You said follow. You're right. You got to follow the money. And sometimes when I tell people about state funding and federal funding and local funding, and they always there's people who say I don't go after that type of funding because I don't like give hand-me-downs or give that. I'm like, it's your money. You're just going after your money. It's your tax money that you've been giving out for years and years. You want to reap the benefits of your. So you follow.
So we got a little bit of breakage on your internet, but we're gonna make it through, man. That's the enemy always coming in. We used to this thing, man. So let's see. I think I got you frozen a little bit. Let me see. Yeah. Ooh, this is gonna be rough. How's your connection, man? All right, there you go. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got you.
I'm sorry. Did you hear? When did I cut off? Did you hear what I said?
No, I did. You want to go ahead and repeat yourself? Yeah, we missed most of that. He said it was your tax.
I'm sorry about that.
And then it cut off.
Yeah, some people, when I tell them about going after the money for the local money and the state money and federal money, sometimes I get pushback. Well, I don't want these hand-downs, and I don't like looking for hand-downs. And I'm telling, well, it's your money. It's your tax money. You want to decide where the money goes. You've been paying into this as you've been working all your life. Now you just want to reap some of the benefits of the tax money that you have been paying for. You want to decide where the money goes. You want to decide how effective the money is. You don't want the money just to go to tanks and militaries, guns and weapons. You want to go to economic development for your area.
Man, so Greg, I got a lot of questions, man, and I hope we'll be able to bring you back on, man. And again, just from an educational standpoint, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I believe that many of us don't do simply because we don't know, right? We don't do simply because we don't know, and I would also venture to say we might be even a bit scared to know because it's an area of the unknown. I mean, it's something about. I think maybe because of, if we look at the times that are going on now, because of things that happen with police brutality and our impact that society and politics has had, especially on Black people, we just kind of be like, let's just stay away. Let's just stay away from that particular topic. Man, what are some things that that you just like people in general to know as it relates to bureaucracy, government, politics? That, I mean, we got a little bit of education or political education when we went through maybe 6th grade or something like that, civil studies or something like that. But what have you learned maybe as you have dove in that you'd like to share with other people about this whole, because it's much bigger than just one conversation, but you'd like to share with people?
Great question. One of the things that I want people to know is often we follow national politics. We know about our president, our vice president. We know their agenda, but we don't know about local politics. Our president does not write legislation. Our president does not pass laws. Now, our president can veto laws, but local politics is what makes the change for your community. And a lot of people don't know who is their state representative, their state senator, their tax commissioner, their judges. These are the people who are really directly affecting your community. So I asked this question to someone the other day. And I asked the question, was marijuana sales legal in this country? And the person answered the question, no. Marijuana sales are not legal in this country. And I said, you are correct, but that does not affect you as much as what happens on a local level. So if you look at on the local level, it may not be legal on the federal level, but some local municipalities have said, okay, we're not going to prosecute you for X amount of marijuana sales. We're just not going to look at that. So now there are people who are in certain municipalities, as long as they just sell in that local municipality, they're selling marijuana, to people and making a business because their local politicians said we're basically going to close a blind eye to this because we don't want to deal with that and we know it's not hurting anyone. So if someone just looked at the federal level, that's just often it's a general look at things. It's a general look, but then things trickle down to the state and then your local level. But if you don't know who your politicians are, if you don't know who you're electing in state office, local commissioners and local judges, you don't even know how to affect change. You do not know how to affect change. Often these people stay in office for 20 and 30 years over and over again, doing nothing because they don't have to do anything. They don't have to have a plan on economic development. They don't have to have a plan on housing. They don't have to have a plan on policing or anything because they know 80 to 90% of the people don't even know who they are. They're worried about Donald Trump. They're worried about Mike Pence. They're worried about Mitch McConnell, who's not even in their state. They can tell you everything that they said, but they don't know about their local politician who's affecting their lives every single day.
Man, I told y'all know y'all gonna have some pineapple moments, man. So Brother Shealy, as it relates to our current climate, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously a lot of marching, protesting, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, such and such, such and such. Now I'm starting to wonder, with the protests, without political demands, what are we really doing?
Without political demands, okay, we made our voice heard. We made our voice heard. Now, what are the demands? If we don't have any demands right now, if we don't have an agenda, a strategy, we made our voice heard. Now we're just having a party in the street. We have to have an ask. We have to have a serious ask. We have to make this time a pivotal time to work for us. So right now, I love the protests. I was out protesting the other day. I love that people all over the world are getting out there. Now, what do we want change? What is the big agenda? Now, I see defund the police. Okay, we want to get these people prosecuted, but I hope and pray that there's a economic component to that as well, because if there's not an economic component to bring us up to a certain level, to a certain status, we're still going to be subservient to the people in charge. So we need a criminal with a new criminal bill, to prosecute police for police brutality. But I'm hoping and praying that someone steps up to the plate and start to tackle the economic disparities that we have in our country.
And with that, we're getting back to the local side, and obviously, let's talk about, you mentioned district this and that. You're representing this. Where are we in this process now? I mean, I kind of want to go. I mean, what you're running for, what you're up for, or what you're positioning yourself for. Where are we in this process right now? Because we're just getting into early voting, primaries. Is that local? I mean, what do we talk? What's going on now? And what do people need to know about now, and what they can do, where they need, whatever that is.
Yeah. So early voting just ended on last Friday. Our election is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the election. Now it's really going to be hard. It's going to be a grind to win this one. I'm going after the Nancy Pelosi of DeKalb County, someone who's loved and been in office for 20-something years, and another challenger who's in the race has probably been a 20, 30-year politician. But if you look at their record, it says nothing. It says nothing. It's being liked. It's being liked. So when we see this uprising that's going on, a lot of the local politicians in our area, not all, but a lot of them won't get out there as much, because if they get out there and start talking about change, then people will say, oh, you can affect change. That means we want to hold you accountable to do something. But if you don't know and you're willfully blind, you have no demands on anyone. So the person that I'm running against has, this is no lie, and I'm not exaggerating, has not showed their face in over a year in our community. No one has heard from this person in over a year, and I'm not exaggerating. In over a year, haven't heard. And it's probably leading because no one knows, because we willfully vote incumbent. We willfully just vote incumbent. So incumbents in the state of Georgia are reelected on the local level 96.4% of the time.
Whew. Wait is it? Tell us what incumbent means. It's just, again, we doing political education too. What is an incumbent?
The incumbent is the person who is in office right now. So, for example, Donald Trump is the incumbent president. So when he runs, Joe Biden will be the challenger. He will be the incumbent. So the person in office in DeKalb County wins 96.4% of the time, which is crazy. One of the things that I tell people is I want to run, I want to win. And then the next cycle, I want somebody to come up with bigger and better ideas and take me out. And I want somebody to come up behind them with bigger and better ideas and take them out. In this case, it will make sure that the politicians in my community never get stagnant and stale. We'll always be looking for the needs of the community. But if you stay in office for 22 years and you don't even show your face for a year, you don't have to do anything. It's more beneficial to not do anything.
Man, I'm just wondering. So how is it? And maybe this is a mute question, but how is it that we have terms for federal, but lifetime ability locally? I just that doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense, but the people who are writing the laws, who can change the laws, are the people in office. So 80% of the people want term limits. Probably 1% of the politicians want term limits because they don't want to legislate themselves out of office. Because if you write bad legislation, or if you support legislation that's not good, the community will find out, and the community will say, oh, you supported bad legislation. We got to get you out of there. But it's not always a bad thing. It means at least you're trying. Now, our community, local politicians, they're not even writing any legislation. They're not even doing anything like that because they want to almost stay anonymous because they know 90% of the people don't even know who they are.
This is quite interesting. I see your question, Kenyatta. That it's very interesting, even more so now because of the climate, because of all the protests, all of the push for change. But if we not pushing into the office, into these elections, and number one, and knowing who the people are that's running, I guess. Because that's kind of important too. Because if you don't know who they are, what they stand for, what they're trying to do, what their agenda is, then you just go in there and you again incumbent. That's my problem, brother. I'm not gonna be honest. Mm-hmm. Because when I go in there and I don't know nobody and I don't know none of these names, I feel like, why am I coming here? Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure other people may feel the same. I'm just gonna be honest because I think honesty is the best policy. So I go in there. Just to say I voted, but who the heck? I don't know who and what I voted for. I see these articles and all this stuff. So let me ask you this: as a person who wants to know, because everybody don't want to know, but as a person who wants to, do better, what are some resources? Where are places I can go to learn what I don't know? Not necessarily just about laws, because that's going to be a whole nother, education. About the people, maybe their agenda. Is there some place where I can get the Cliff Notes? I don't know. I'm just saying. What can I do?
It's not the easiest. It's not hard, but it's not the easiest thing. So one of the ways that people can find out about their local politicians or local politicians' voting habits is often on Facebook. There's a concerned citizen group. So if you look for your area, let's say you're in Atlanta, there's probably a Facebook group called Concerned Citizens of Atlanta, you know, and there's probably one or two people who will lead up the group, and they'll tell you their local politicians' voting record and what they're supporting and what they should not be supporting. So you could start getting some information that way. But then if you go to ballot, what's it called? Just if you put in your area, I forget what that site is. It always comes up first. Ballotpedia. Where if you put in your area, if you just type in your area, representative of Stonecrest or representative of Houston's Fourth Ward or something like that, it will pull up your representative. And then you could start, yeah, there we go, Ballotpedia. You pull up your area, and you could start to find what they supported or what they haven't supported. And once you find their name, once you find your representative's name, then just Google John Smith's voting record. And there's a lot of forums that'll come up with their voting record, what they supported. And what you're going to find in a lot of our areas, you're going to see a voting record. You're going to see a voting record, but you're not going to see any legislation. You're not going to see that they went out and tried to change something. So they went out and tried to sponsor a new crime bill, a new police brutality bill. They didn't write anything for that. You're going to find that. But if you put in those representatives, you can find history on them. And one of the things that we really need to do is our judges. You know, we got to find out who's a good judge and bad judge. Who's throwing our people in jail for these long sentences, and who's working with our people and trying to work in different programs instead of just saying, hey, 5 years, 10 years, get out of here.
Man, this is, I knew that the rabbit hole goes deep, man. We got a couple questions for you, brother Caesar. And from Kenyatta, I think she may be in your area. She said, where do Stonecrest vote, and what's her name again?
My name is Greg Shilley, Shealey. It depends on what part of Stonecrest you're in. It's either you're going to probably vote at Salem Middle School on Salem Road, more than likely, or it's going to be the library in Stonecrest, one of the two. But if you just put in, just Google Stonecrest polling place, something will pop up and it'll tell you where you vote. But remember to vote Greg Shilley.
Remember that. Hey, she also asked, how does a legislature get drafted or a bill get drafted?
That's a good question. So legislation, is drafted by, per se, the legislature. So I'm running for state representative, so I can draft legislation, but often it's drafted with an interest in mind. So let's say the nurses, there's a nursing community that wants better state benefits if you do X, Y, and Z. Well, they will help you write the legislation to present to the legislature to be voted on. But anyone can write legislation to be voted on.
Man, absolutely. I got a great question, I think, here. So as you at being in business as a developer of some sort, and then going into now, being kind of, you saying, hey, okay, I guess I'll do it into politics. What type of what kind of time and research and learning, what was this learning curve for you? I mean, obviously you had a little bit of understanding from a whole, probably writing contracts, doing government contracts, stuff like that. but to become well versed, to say, you know, so that you can tackle questions when they come. What kind of research and time? Because we're talking about a whole nother level of a whole nother self-education, you know, process here.
Yeah, you know what? No, rarely does someone ask that question because people don't know to ask that question. So I see you done some good research. It's you're learning a lot on the job. So if you've never been in the position, you don't know everything that you need to know, and you're always learning as you go. So, for example, like I said, I've been in business for over 16 years, but I learn something all the time. I learn something new all the time. So it's just learning on the go. So I'm an avid reader. I love learning. So as I go, I just hope to learn more. So one of the things that one of my mottos is ask a lot of questions, listen, and don't forget. So if you
wait, repeat that again. You can't be going so fast and drop the mic like that. Say that again. One of your mottos is what? Everybody put it down. I would say this a little slow for the people in the back.
One of my mottos in life is ask a lot of questions, listen, and don't forget. So as example, you're as we're going through, you're asking me a lot of questions, right? You're asking me about business and the political climate. And as you're asking these questions, you're edifying your knowledge base. So I'm one of these people, if I find someone who has a larger knowledge base, I ask them questions all the time. So if you see a well-seasoned legislator, I'll ask questions. How do we get this done? What would be the best method of moving forward? Well, how has this affected our area? So I ask a lot of questions to people all the time. I don't have shame in my game to admit that I don't know things. So when you couple that with studying on your own, you know, you just get a stronger knowledge base. And that's what we need to do in our community, because the north side of town, they do this all the time. You know, we're still playing checkers while they're playing chess. So they're so far ahead in terms of the political climate, so they can get more things done for their community.
Woo. Oh wow, big pineapple, a lot of pineapple moments today, beautiful people, here on the Money and Power Show. Brother Seeley, man, oh my goodness. Today's a very special day, and obviously, I mean, I'm just grateful for God that the timing is just always kind of right. I mean, obviously, this is a show today. Primaries, voting for those that didn't vote early tomorrow. You know, for them to get out and express themselves, let their voice be heard, not just in the streets, but at the ballots. As you when you look at what's going on the side of the cab, because I believe that's kind of what you represent. Do you also see this same climate in pretty much every state? Or, I mean, is that pretty much what you view as you look across the country? Because I know you're focused on side of the cab, but I'm pretty sure you learn from all these other places as well that make up our country.
Yeah, well, you're killing all the questions. I can tell you're asking some really good questions. So I know a legislator up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who's, you know, in an urban area, who gets things done, who's always out there doing things, trying to affect change, trying to get legislation done, trying to bring his community one step forward every year. And that's one of the people who have inspired me, because I watch from afar. So it's not everywhere, but I can't speak to other areas, but if we're not moving forward, if your community is not taking one step forward every year, then it may be a time to look at what the leaders, the political leadership is like, and you may just have to change up a few things and rattle a few feathers and vote a few people out. And nothing's wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with voting some people out and getting some fresh blood, fresh ideas out there. But going back to the friend up in Pittsburgh, is he's been in office for a while, but he's getting things done. People love him, and he's out all the time. He's not hiding behind the political curtain. I'm busy over here, you know, at the Capitol, and I can't be in the community doing different things. No, he's always in the community, always trying to get things done, always listening to people, always saying that this is where things stand, and these are things that need to be changed, and this is what he believes. So I want to be more like that.
And I can appreciate that. And I got two last questions for you, then we'll begin to wrap this up, man. Hopefully we can bring you back on. And we have some good news after, I guess, the primaries. And I'm not quite sure. Is there anything after the primaries? I mean, after tomorrow, does that set things in motion, or is that just the beginning?
Well, in my district, if you win the primary, you're pretty much going to win the general, because we're 80% Democrat in this district. So yeah, on tomorrow, if you vote for Greg Shilley and I win the primary on November 3rd, I have like 80% chance of winning in general.
Absolutely. And with I forgot my other question. But anyway, so today is a very special day, Mr. City. I'm glad that you're able to come on and be with us here today. And we were able to meet at some interesting meetings as it relates to the forming of a city for South DeKalb and all that. But it's Black Man Monday, right? And this is our time where we actually just, especially during a time like this, where we just lift up the Black man. You just happen to be a Black man. Oh, I know my question. My question was community. Okay, here's my question before we get to Black Man Monday. And we're going to go a little bit long today, guys, because this is a great question, I think. A lot for me, or for us, or for many of us, whenever we say this word community, there is the understood that we're talking just about Black people. But in South DeKalb, where you run, the community is as large as a lot of different ethnicities and a lot of different people, a lot of different age ranges from old to young. How do you how do you not be biased and represent the entire community for which you serve? As you think about what makes the community better. Because economics is economics. It's not just economics for Black people, it's economics for that whole, whatever's represented in that whole area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that kind of, because I'm sure.
Listen here, Evan. You can represent the whole community and be biased. It's the same way Black Lives Matter. When people said all lives matter, they're like, no, we have the problem right here. That's the reason why we're saying Black Lives Matter. So if the Black folk in my community are the ones struggling the most, then yes, I could be a little bit more biased. And then if people don't like that, then they vote me out of office. But people all in the whole district can have their agenda, regardless who they are. And I hope to champion their agendas. But if I see a group of people who are struggling more than another group of people, yeah, I'm gonna be biased to this group of people to help them pull themselves up, because I was that person. I remember when I was younger, I used to look at just life in general as a beatdown. There was no light at the end of the tunnel, and I know what that feeling is like. And when people say pull yourself up on a bootstrap, I was like, man, I don't have boots, let alone straps. So yes, you can represent a community and be biased. And I hope that people politicians look at their situation that way.
Man, great answer, man. I wouldn't expect the politicians to say that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, man. I appreciate you, honestly, man. And this is why I'm glad to bring you on, man. Because I just love real people. I get tired of the whole politically correct thing. Like at the end of the day, we all people, and let's just be people. I mean, that's just it. That's just how I like to roll. But anyway, it's Black Man Monday. If everybody's in the comments, it's your opportunity to express your love, your appreciation, your adoration for the Black man. It's your opportunity to lift up any Black man that might be watching this now, might be watching this later. It may be the words that actually helps them to keep going. It's Black Man Monday, where we show our love, appreciation, adoration, respect for the Black man in our communities, our fathers, our uncles, our grandfathers, our nephews, our sons. And Mr. Seeley, you just happen to be a Black man here on Black Man Monday. I'll give you the last words. What are your words to the black man in our community?
Okay. In our community, let's stop looking for leaders and let's be the leader that we want to see. So in our community, we see it all the time where someone's asking the politician, what is your agenda? What are you going to do? Well, it should not be the politician's agenda. It should be our community's agenda. So once I'm elected, I hope to champion your cause. I know we've been struggling out here in these streets. I know we have our issues, but let's get a little piece of the pie. Let's go after it. But I can't be the one who is the only one with an agenda. Let's galvanize around a central thing and go get it and make this thing work for our community. And we can do that.
Man, stop looking for leadership and be the leader. Everybody put in console, be the leader. Man, stop looking for leadership and be the leader. Hey, here's the deal, guys. Money and Power Show. We got some important dates coming up tomorrow, right? Primary elections, I believe, across the whole country for whatever community which you serve. Get out in them streets, but then get out to the ballot. We provided a website for you to do a little research today. So when you do go, you are armed with information, right? Armed with information so you can make an educated decision. Now, this is the same stuff I talk about on the money side, right? When you are armed with information, you can make an educated decision. And so I did not even know. We've got Investopedia, by the way, Mr. Steele, from the money side. Now we got Ballotpedia on the political side, man. It just works. So arm yourself with information, right? Go not only just get out in the streets, but get out to the polls and use your voice to make an educated decision for the change that you want to see. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, that's you being a leader. That's you being a leader, because most people simply won't do it. Most people won't read up on their own. Most people won't just go to the website and say, let me just find out what I can find out. That is you being a leader. Man, Mr. Shealy, again, I know that, everybody's time is limited, and I appreciate you coming on so early. I was like, man, I don't know if he's going to be up this early, but you're a businessman. Business people are always up early. Man, what's your last words for the people here today on the Money and Power Show?
My good people, on June 9th, 2020, I ask for your vote. I ask for you to vote for Greg Shealy for state representative of District 90. That's Lithonia, Stonecrest, a little bit of Decatur, Conyers, and a little bit of Henry County. My platform is all about economic development. It's all about economic development for our community. And I can't do it alone. I can't do it without your vote. So I humbly ask if you would take the time and vote for Greg Shealy. And I promise to uphold the ideas that I had set out in terms of economic development. Thank you.
All right, brother. See, man, thanks so much. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you back, man. I'll reach out to you, see if there's another date, man. I'd love to. I got a whole bunch of pineapple moments. I'm learning something today, and that's just what it's about. It's about having fun, guys, and learning at the same time. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Hey, beautiful people, man, this is the RGJ, the Money and Power Show, and I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God, that's more than enough. Until next episode, y'all know what time it is. It's time to get up, to get out, and go get something. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We'll see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.